لأن فاقد الشيء لا يعطيه. العالم العربي لا يعلم ما هو السلام.
وأنتم فاقدون وأنتم فاقدون لكل شيء. شيخ بس أنا بدي أذكره.
شيخ طلبت مني أن أسكت. طلبت مني أن أسكت. ها طلبت مني. شوف ما يدور بين السنة والشيعة، شوف ما يدور بين الكرد والعرب، شوف ما يدور بين قبائل ليبيا وقبائل يمن، شوف ما يدور بين إيران وباقي الدول العربية التي تأخذها كالبيد من الأرض.
As I said before, folks, don't ever watch the propaganda, pro-Islamic fundamentalist terror, anti-American, anti-Israeli channel Al-Jazeera unless it is to see them get demolished on their own program in Arabic by an Israeli professor, Professor Mordechai Kedar, reminding them a little bit about the history of Jerusalem. Take a look.
إن لم يكن هذا مضحك فكان هذا مبكي. يا أخي نحن اليهود كنا في القدس.
أنتم الأضحوكة، أنتم الأضحوكة عبر التاريخ، أنتم الأضحوكة بأكاذيب.
يا أخي أنا لا مقاطعك. كنا في القدس قبل أكثر من 3000 عام عندما كان آباء المسلمون يشربون الخمر والنبيذ ويئدون البنات ويعبدون العزى واللات والمنات في البادية العربية. نحن كنا في القدس نعبد الإله الواحد الأوحد. عندما كنتم عبدة الأصنام في البادية العربية فماذا تتكلم؟ داود وسليمان وكل الأنبياء كانوا يهود، حتى عيسى بن مريم ولد يهوديا وعاش يهوديا وكان يهوديا. امتى جاء الإسلام للعالم؟ في القرن السابع ليبيد العالم وليبسط ثقافة البادية على الحضارة. ونحن عدنا إلى أرض أجدادنا لنعيد دولتنا ولنعيد استقلالنا ولنعيد حريتنا من نير الإسلام. بيت المقدس هذا هو يعني ما ذكر الأخ في الاستوديو. بيت المقدس ليس إلا الصورة العربية لبيت مقداش. هذا هو الهيكل اليهودي. هذا دليل من اللغة العربية بأن هذا المكان كان بيت مقداش اليهودي، وهذا انتقل إلى العربية باسم بيت المقدس. وهذا هو أصل كل من له كثرة عقل في رأسه يعلم هذه الحقيقة. ولكن نحن شوف أقول لك بمنتهى الصراحة، نحن في إسرائيل لا نعتقد بأننا نريد السلام مع العالم العربي. ليش؟ لأن فاقد الشيء لا يعطيه. العالم العربي لا يعلم ما هو السلام.
وأنتم فاقدون وأنتم فاقدون لكل شيء. شيخ بس أنا بدي أذكره.
طلبت مني أن أسكت. طلبت مني أن أسكت. ها طلبت مني. شوف ما يدور بين السنة والشيعة، شوف ما يدور بين الكرد والعرب، شوف ما يدور بين قبائل ليبيا وقبائل يمن، شوف ما يدور بين إيران وباقي الدول العربية التي تأخذها كالبيد من الأرض. والعالم العربي ساكت فاشل، ليس له سلام لا داخليا ولا خارجيا. نحن سنكون يعني سعداء للانضمام للسلام العربي. إذن اعملوا السلام بينكم، بين القبائل وبين الطوائف، بين الأديان، بين المجموعات الإثنية. نحن سننضم إلى السلام العربي. ولكن العالم العربي اليوم مستنقع من النار والدموع والدماء. من يريد التقرب منكم؟ من يريد أن يتكلم معكم؟ العالم العربي فاشل، الأمة الإسلامية فاشلة. من يريدكم؟ نحن دولة متقدمة، نحن دولة ديمقراطية، نحن دولة متطورة OECD. الطب في إسرائيل لو فتحت إسرائيل أبوابها أمام العرب لانتقل نصفهم إلى إسرائيل في اليوم الأول والنصف الثاني في اليوم الثاني. هذا هو الحقيقة الناسية التي لا يمكن لأحد أن ينكرها حتى ولو صح في استوديوهات الجزيرة.
Ouch. You're talking to us about making peace? You want to give us peace when you don't even have peace among yourselves, in your countries, between your countries. And that is a major thing. You know, we talk about peace in the Middle East. It's such a problem in the mainstream media. I'm telling you, peace in the Middle East. Even I, when I worked in the media, used that term, Mideast peace. Part of it is because you have those stripes that go underneath the screen, right, with the little headline. And Middle East peace is just so much shorter than Israeli-Palestinian resolution or whatever it is. So they shove it in there, peace in the Middle East, as if the reason there's no peace in the Middle East is Israel and Palestine, as if the rest of the Middle East is this peaceful oasis. No, it's not. It's filled with blood and death, as Professor Kedar said over there. And you want to tell us about making peace? How Israel doesn't want to make peace? You don't have peace. You don't have peace in your areas. And also, if you look internally into Palestinians, that's also part of the problem. You have Gaza, run by Hamas, who killed off all the Fatah people, threw them off roofs, and then the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank not having elections for 20 years. Those two groups in combat with each other, the different tribal groups inside fighting each other, discriminating against each other. We saw it in Gaza where some tribes not loyal to Hamas broke away, then they fought each other. They don't have peace internally inside their own societies. And they want to lecture us in Israel about making peace, about having peace. And then there's the second issue, which you talked about, which is them claiming Jerusalem and all that when they don't know the history, or they know the history and they lie about it, which is that you came later. What can you do? Islam came later, came in the 7th century AD. 1,700 years after the Jewish people were in Jerusalem and came and built on top Beit el-Maqdis, as he said. Beit el-Maqdis is Beit HaMikdash, the Holy Temple. They call it Beit el-Maqdis. That site, the site where Al-Aqsa is. They call it Beit el-Maqdis, the temple, the Jewish temple. So they know they built the mosque on top of the Jewish temple, but for them it's justified because Islam has come to replace Judaism. Islam came into the world to replace the other false religions, Judaism and Christianity. Convert them and replace them. So it's okay. It's justified. It's legitimate. It's the goal. And this is what Israel is fighting in this war. It's that idea, the idea that Judaism is void, Islam needs to dominate, and therefore the state of Israel simply cannot exist in any type of Jewish character. If the Jews accept their subjugated status, so they have been sufficiently subjugated, they can live as dhimmi, which is a second-class citizen, under the domination of Islam. That's how Jews lived for over 1,000 years, under their domination. So once the population has been significantly subjugated, Islam dominates. There's the Islamic empire or country, whether it be North Africa and the Middle East, that dominates the space. Then the people of the book, which is Christians and Jews, can live under their domination as a dhimmi, as long as they pay their extra tax, the jizya, as long as they are periodically humiliated by, being slapped and not being allowed to ride horses, bear weapons, not being allowed to have any of their stuff in the public space, right? So the azan, the call to prayer in Arabic and Islam, that can go off, but church bells can't go off, for example, or Jewish, synagogues can't make any noise or be in the public space. So once they dominate and you accept as a Jew that you are subjugated, then you are permitted to live in their lands. And this is why they have this obsession with Zionism. We're not against Jews, we're just against Zionism. How many times have you heard that? We're not against Jews, we're just against Zionism. If you go through comments in my channel, you'll find it at least 1,000 times when I went to visit Arab Muslim countries. Because Zionism means that the Jews are self-determined in their own country. They're your equals, not even your equals, your betters now because of Israel's better achievements, not because Jews are inherently better than other people or Muslims. I'm not saying that, but Israel defeats the Arab states in all the wars and has a more successful, more free, better economically, better in almost all categories than most of those surrounding countries, right? How dare they, the Jews, to do that? Jews should be subjugated under our sovereignty, which should be, the best that the world has to offer because, our religion is the ultimate thing. And yet they're less successful than Israel, and Israel stands there and beats them off in all their wars. So this is arguing with those people sitting in the studio in Doha, Professor Kedar, those people, well, there are people with no introspection of we came, we conquered, we colonized, we Islamized the native population. And now is the time to back off and reach some type of compromise with one group of that population, which is the Jews, because the other groups in the Middle East are not as lucky as the Jews to be able to build a strong state that can defend itself. But instead, it's no, That's our right to dominate them and to destroy that country that sits in our face and is all these things. Gave it to them in their face as they deserve it. Al Jazeera, propaganda channel. Never watch unless you see them getting destroyed in their own backyard. Thanks for watching.